Hello student, I am explaining question number 12, that is write a program to input principal rate and time and check whether they are valid or not. If they are valid, then display simple interest and amount and also display the reason of invalidity. So means we have to calculate simple interest. So to calculate simple interest we need principal, we need rate and we need time. So what is the meaning of a valid entry? What is the meaning of a validity of principal, rate and time? So principal is valid if it is greater than 0. Rate is valid if it is greater than 0. Time is valid if it is greater than 0. If any one of these is equal to 0, then SI becomes 0. Simple interest is equal to 0 because we know SI equal to P into R into T by 100, and suppose principal is 0. So if you will multiply 0 into R into T, the entire result becomes 0. So in that case we can say principal, rate and time are valid when principal is greater than 0, rate is greater than 0 and time is greater than 0. So in this program, first of all we have to input principal, rate and time and check whether they are valid or not. And to check its validity we have to check whether principal is greater than 0, rate is greater than 0 and time is greater than 0. If all these three conditions are fulfilled, then we will calculate simple interest. Okay, see what happened. First of all, import statement, class SI, method to display SI and amount, void display. We will create the scanner object like earlier program. Enter P R T. We will input principal in P, rate in R, time in T. P R T. All the three are integer type. We take two variables, one is SI, one is amount. SI is to calculate and store simple interest, and AMT is to calculate and store amount. Okay. So first of all we will check P is greater than 0. P is greater than 0. Suppose we take P equal to 1000, R equal to 5, T equal to 2. Suppose we are taking these three input. So for this input, P greater than 0, this condition is true. When this condition P becomes true, the control move inside, control get inside, and again check R is greater than 0. So for R equal to 5, this condition is also true. Then control again get inside. Again it will check T greater than 0, the value of T is 2. So this condition is also true. Therefore, these three conditions are true, means principal is greater than 0, rate is also greater than 0, time is also greater than 0. And after these three conditions, when these three conditions are true, then the program will calculate SI, which is equal to P into R into T by 100.0, because this is integer, and we have to make this part as a fraction by giving point 0. SI equal to P into R into T by 100.0, AMT amount equal to P plus SI. We will print SI and amount. This is okay. For this value, this is okay. But suppose so principal is greater than 0. For this value P is 1000. This condition is true. We move it side. Again R greater than 0. For R equal to 5. This condition is also true. Again we get inside this loop. We will the control will move inside this if. Again it will check if T greater than 0, where T equal to 0. So this condition becomes false. This condition evaluates to false. Therefore, these all statements will not execute. These all statements are under this if. So these all statements will not execute. So the control transfers to else part and print invalid time. See, time is invalid. Okay. Takes one more example. Suppose this is 2. Take R equal to 0. Take R equal to 0. For P equal to 1000, P greater than 0, this is true. Again, r greater than 0. So value of r is 0. So this condition evaluates to false. The control transfers to the its else statement here. It's a else statement here, and here it will print invalid rate. See, rate is invalid. Got it? One more example. Take p equal to 0. Whatever will be the value of rate and time doesn't matter. P equal to 0. The first condition, P equal to 0, this condition evaluates to false, and the control transfer to its else part here, and it will print invalid principal. Okay, so you write this program and try to learn it and try to solve some more questions. So question number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's I explain the definitions of questions. What is SPI number, what is duck number, what is unique number, what is zero nil number, etc. Okay, SPI number. SPI number. If sum of digit and product of digit of a number are equal, it is called a SPI number. Means sum of digits should be equal to product of digits. If these conditions are fulfilled, this number is called SPI number. Duck number. Duck number. SPI number example is 123. But this is 4-digit SPI number, I think. Yes, it is a 4-digit SPI number. So you check some other number. Duck number. If a number contains a 0, if a number contains a 0 in it, it is called a duck number. See the example 2015. See, 0 is here, therefore it is a duck number. 1001. See, zeros are here, therefore it is a duck number. If a number contains 0 in it, it is called a duck number. Okay. Next is zero nil number. Zero nil. If a number does not contain any 0, it is called a zero number. Zero nil number means 2115. See, there is no 0. There is no 0. So it is a zero nil number. Okay, if a number does not contain any 0, it is zero nil number. Next is unique number. Unique number. If all the digits of a number are different, if all the digits of a number are different, there is no repetition of a digit in a number, that number is called unique number. Suppose 123. 123. See, all the numbers are different. There is no repetition of the digit, so it is a unique number. Suppose 122. See, 2 is repeated here, so this is not the unique number. So I explain all the definitions of the numbers, so you solve at home. Okay, thank you.